coming up, Ruto must go, Vituko Kadi, all those things. Zakayo Washuke, many have come and gone, and they'll keep changing. But what's your opinion on now trying to reconcile what people are calling for, what is needed, and the insistence that no, some quarters will say, no, this is fine, the government is okay, you're just being antagonistic?
Yeah, I'll keep insisting that one of the reasons why most of these movements have almost always failed to give any deliverable results is because most of the time it's anchored on sentiment, and sentimentalism does not change governance. It is an effective plan that does. The old guards have always beaten us at that. They have a plan. I always argue that the old have a plan even when it's a bad plan. The young have sentiments most of the time. So at the end of the day, yes, there is this rage and all this. But if it's not packaged for political result, it will end at just being just that. And it's also wrong to imagine that everyone who is young is saying Ruto must go. Yeah, or the entire country is saying Ruto must go. And that is why most of the time I listen to fellow panelists, and you'll realize that when someone is saying that Ruto must go and the government has done nothing, they quickly get very agitated when someone says that the government has done something. Why? Because most argument is really centered on sentiment, and so you are inspiring more anger than a plan. And if there is no real plan, the results will actually be just the way they have always been. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we are a democracy. And those ones who, the majority will always have their way.
Right.
The only way to become the majority is to have an effective plan to lead us to that majority. Everyone, remember, President Ruto, who is in office today, has tangible, he has things that some people believe have been done. He has people who believe that he must be able to come back. He is also organizing. You can be able to see him holding meetings. You are seeing him in Nyeri moving there and meeting 17,000 people. You are seeing him in State House meeting his aspirants. You are seeing him moving up in the country every other day, meaning he understands that the political process of the next election will be through the vote and through the people and through the ballot. And so he is organizing. So every other person must also organize. And if that does not happen, then the one who organizes will win the election, not the one with the highest amount of sentiment.
Is that what the president should be doing? It's a question Kenyans are asking. He runs an office, he has a national duty. Time for campaigning, even according to IEBC, is not yet on. You know? We're still waiting for the whistle to be blown. And so those are the questions Kenyans are asking.
That is something
that is the incumbency has the duty, one, to deliver to the nation. If they want to defend their position, a time will come for that. So that's a conversation people are already asking. Now, the other question perhaps I'd want to ask is, could it be you don't see, now maybe you as advice, you don't see the plan, the organization of the Gen Z, because you're not in their revolution? Could that be the case?
That would also be the case. And most of the time what I have learned in politics, and I've been around these circles for a while together with my brother Kidi here. And when I was in the ruling party, serving on the neck of the Jubilee Party, there was a problem that we had towards the election. And every time we looked for a convenient thought that made us look intelligent. We lost by-elections towards the election. We lost the by-election in Juja. We lost the other by-election in Kiamba. And we lost the by-election in Meru. When we kept losing those by-elections, we came up with a convenient thinking. And we're able to say, we are not paying a lot of attention to this by-election because, you see, the general election is the main thing, it's the real thing. And that is what we sold to our supporters, because when you're in politics, you always look for something to make your people continue believing in you. The truth is, the trajectory went the same and we lost the election at the end of the day. That's where it culminated. So even today, there will always be convenient thinking that says, when opposition loses the by-election, they'll say, government can put money in all the quotas, and you see that is why. They will be able to say, these things can be rigged at such a place. The reality is this. The politics is only won by the person who organizes the best and gets their people out to vote. When you ask about why the president is moving around and doing whatever he's doing, when you go to State House today, there are two flags. The flag of the Republic of Kenya and the flag of UDA.
Well, it's not the UDA flag, but it's the regime.
Because the government in place is a government out of a political party. Our democracy is like that. So at the end of the day, the president, yes, is the president, but is also the political party leader of UDA, and he's conscious of the coming election. And as a party, they must be able to organize and get ready for the next election. He who wants to get them out must do the same in better frame and better formula. Making it, thinking that when you sit and then say the president is wrong, he should not be doing this, makes you right and therefore you win election, is poor strategy in my view. What I think should be done is that when you really think that something needs to be done, you go ahead and do it. Otherwise, look at now the Nikokadi campaign, which I felt was a very good campaign in terms of rallying the young people to vote. But now, when you make it an imagination as though now the campaign is equivalent to Ruto must go, now again you water down the campaign. Because then the people who are going to come out to register and vote, those who are in support of the regime, you now make them feel like they're not part and parcel of this campaign. In my view, I felt like it was a win for the campaign when politicians jumped onto it. Why? Because the first thing you need is you need enough people to register. Now, after you have enough people who have registered, you can now convince them to vote a certain way. But now, when people are rallying on to try and make people register, you again delegitimizing them by saying, no, we don't want you, we want this other person, we want this other person.
No,
for me, it becomes more... It becomes more sentiment. It makes sense from a sentiment perspective, but I don't think it makes strategic sense.
I think we need